Greetings, YouTube. So, I've talked about Ron DeSantis before on my channel. In fact, I think I may be doing 2 videos this week on him. And I don't like the man. He is a hard-line uh, neocon conservative. He's a dyed-in-the-wool red cap, and he very much wants to make sure that nobody in his state enjoys long and happy lives because he's going to do everything he can to create an atmosphere where they will literally all die. And talking about climate change and the things that you can do to kind of deal with storms, because there is no state in the United States that it is more vulnerable to sea level rise and storms than Florida. Remember, Florida is a little finger that sticks out into the ocean, one that is based on porous rock. So you can't build a seawall around Florida. The ocean is just going to come right up under your feet. And of course, the storms that come sweeping through there every hurricane season are just going to get more frequent and worse, and do everything they can to just scour the entire peninsula of Florida flat, what isn't already flat. And he is willing to accept money, of course, from the federal government, even though he's against federal government having any power. Um, and he's willing to do certain things to help create a certain degree of resiliency in his state. But the one thing he's not willing to talk about is climate change, nor is he willing to address any of the things that the state of Florida is doing to help reduce their impact on the climate change problem. So he just doesn't want to hear about it. In fact, he calls it climate ideology. What the fuck is climate ideology? Do you mean science? Is that what you're talking about, Ron? The widely accepted view that humans are impacting the climate of the entire planet by pumping CO2 and methane into the atmosphere and creating a nice cozy blanket so that the goddamn sun's energy can't escape. We're doing this. Us. We can show you samples of the past that show you that the levels were far lower even 50 years ago. And remember that the petroleum corporations have known about this since the 70s and have done everything in their power to dissuade Americans from believing they knew anything. It is also a petroleum company, BP, that came up with the idea of the carbon footprint, the individual carbon footprint, trying to put the responsibility of all the carbon being spewed into the world on the shoulders of individual Americans and the citizens of the planet, rather than the fact that 70% of all greenhouse gases are being produced by 100 specific corporations that have names and addresses and boards of directors, all who have names and addresses. And we should all remember that they all have names, they all have addresses. Just just saying, you might want to have this information readily at hand in the near future. Ron DeSantis is an idiot, and he is willing to drive his state into extinction rather than accept the reality around him, which is why he can use statements so fucking stupid as climate ideology